Welcome, everyone, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13 nights of HoroWeen. Ooh, do you see what I did there? HoroWeen, as in Horo no Mi, which is in reference to Perona's Devil Fruit, who is featured on Thriller Bark, which takes heavy references to horror and monster films, as well as everything Halloween and spooky related. However, her Devil Fruit Horo can also be translated to Hollow, as reference to her little ghosts that are hollows and make you feel all negative and empty on the inside. And if you take hollow and you put it in front of ween, you get HallowWeen, which is very similar in pronunciation to Halloween, which that's why it's so clever, and that's why I didn't come up with it. Here's the person that did. Go check out their Twitter. Okay, so this is going to be the top 13 villains or antagonists, however you want to say it, in One Piece, as voted by you, my loyal fans. I did a poll at the beginning of this month, and the voting has already ended, so if you're just hearing about this now, sorry, you missed that train. But I'm really excited to do this. It's going to be 13 videos for 13 days from today, the 19th, leading up to October 31st, Halloween, which will reveal number 1. And I know a lot of you might already have it cemented in your noggins, you know, who's going to be number 1. It's not going to be a surprise. Hey, you don't know, man. This poll is going to have a lot of surprises. Actually, I'm not even kidding about that. Number 9? Oh, you won't see that one coming, I can guarantee you right now. But anyway, we start things off today with unlucky number 13. Ooh, actually, kind of lucky 13, because I'm really glad that this guy made it on the list. I really wanted him to be on it, and he just barely squeaked by at the number 13 spot. To give you a hint before we get into him, he's actually a non-canon character, as in that he appears in a filler arc in the anime, doesn't appear in the manga at all. Many of you probably already know immediately who it is, because there's only one filler villain in the entire One Piece, you know, series in the anime that even is worth half of a shit, and I am of course referring to Vice Admiral Jonathan! Oh, I am so happy I finally get to talk about this magnificent naval bastard. I mean, number 1, look at that mustache. Now that is a true man's mustache. Okay, so where Jonathan fits into the story, if you remember in the manga, after the adventure on Skypiea, the Straw Hats, you know, they get in the octo balloon, they float down Cloud's End, they just land in the ocean at some random point and they just sail on to Long Ring Longland. That's boring, right? In the anime, I guess they need to pad things out a little bit more, so the Straw Hats actually land in the middle of a marine base, G8, or Navarone, and the head of it is Vice Admiral Jonathan. That's right, a Vice Admiral. That's pretty ballsy from the anime staff right there. The Vice Admirals, keep in mind, are very highly ranked in One Piece. I think at this point right now, a Vice Admiral could easily, you know, be on par with one of the Straw Hats, like Momonga fighting against Zoro. I mean, Zoro would probably win, but I think Momonga could put up a pretty decent fight. They're not pushovers, is basically the premise I'm trying to put forward here, okay? And, you know, filler arcs in anime, you know, usually they're shit. Usually they're not that great. But every now and then you get a staff of writers that actually cares, that are actually trying to put something forward that isn't just gonna pad out the series, you know, to make the manga catch up, but it's also actually, let's try to tell a story. Let's add an interesting cast of characters, and that's what at least Jonathan has. There's some other characters that get introduced in the GA arc that are just kind of cliche and bland. They're just background characters, but they hit the nail on the head with Jonathan, okay? He is not only one of the best non-canon characters in One Piece, but he is one of the best non-canon characters in any series, in any anime. And by the way, I want you to comment that below. Not just what your thoughts on Jonathan and the G8 arc are, but I also want you to comment on your favorite filler arc in any anime. Ones that actually gave a shit. The ones that actually tried to tell an interesting story and present some interesting characters in the process and some character development for the main cast, even though, you know, you're not going to be mentioning them all that much in the rest of the story, but at least you get a little bit of development, you know, or a little introspection to their characters. I love that shit. I eat it up. So now we're talking about Jonathan. Okay, Okay, well, why is he so cool? Well, I already mentioned the mustache. I'm not even kidding. One of the reasons why he's this popular, I think, is definitely because of the mustache. Or, to be, you know, more honest with you, it's the interesting appearance. He has a cool look, all right? They gave him the over-the-top Vice Admiral Prestige class honor-bound, whatever the hell that thing is. It's really cool. We don't get to see a lot of other Vice Admirals rocking all of the glitter and glamour that he does. John Giant does a few times, but they give him that. And also the fact that Jonathan, the way he fights against the Straw Hats are not directly. They could have easily written Jonathan's character as just the, you know, the badass head of the Marine base, like, yeah, I'm Vice Admiral Jonathan, I'm big and tough, I'm gonna take out the Straw Hats. And then, you know, the arc consists of the Straw Hats beating their way through the Marine compound. Finally, they arrive at Jonathan and just straight up fight. Luffy Gummo pistols him in the face, and then they leave. Congratulations, arc over, arc boring, you know? No. Jonathan doesn't actually directly fight the Straw Hats. In fact, there's nothing to indicate Jonathan is even really that strong if he knows hockey or has a devil fruit or whatever. Actually, if he's a Vice Admiral, it's confirmed he knows hockey, but this is way before that concept was really mainstream in the story. But he certainly doesn't have a devil fruit. The way he fights against the Straw Hats is through tactical planning, like, you know, some sort of military strategist. I don't know where they would get that idea from. Like he's some sort of high-ranking Navy official or something. The Marine base Navarone is essentially an artificially created, like, lake, and it's surrounded by giant stone walls on every side. So the Straw Hats cannot easily just get in the Going Merry and just sail out of the place. They have to be smart. They have to go around. They have to try to, you know, figure out the lay of the land. So that was a good aspect of the arc, just the Straw Hats going undercover and trying to figure out the way the Marine base works and trying to find a way to escape, while the Going Merry is just kind of under the control of the Marines, while the Marines have control of that. So they have to, it's kind of like a mission in like a really good like Metal Gear or something. It's just like, you know, infiltrate enemy base. You know, you have to free the Going Merry, you have to find a way out, you have to probably override the freaking gate system or whatever, and all the while you have Jonathan at the head of it all. He's the kind of guy, at first he seems like he's rather lazy or inexperienced. He just kind of hanging around fishing, but he actually manages to catch Zoro. I know that's not that much of a, you know, accomplishment once you consider how horrible Zoro is at, you know, sense of direction and everything like that, but the fact that he manages to capture Zoro is kind of a big deal, and he has an, you know, kind of a face-off with Luffy, and the thing is, right away, you might say, well, Jonathan is this brilliant strategist, therefore he should be able to outthink Luffy, who's really not all that intelligent in that regard, but that's really where the opposition arrives in this arc. It's that Luffy, it's not that he's stupid, he's unpredictable, and that is something that is you know, even match for Jonathan's, you know, tactical shit. He's like, okay, I have them all boxed in, there's no way they can get out, and then all of a sudden it's revealed that, oh wait, the Straw Hat ship can fly, you know, using the dials that they picked up on Skypiea, which is technology, of course, Jonathan and the Marines have never seen before. So even at the end of the arc, you know, Jonathan does really try his best to catch Luffy and the gang. He doesn't play this off as just like, well, you know, I gave it a shot, whatever. No, he really treats it like a battle of wits, and right down to the wire, when the whole thing gets drained because of low tide, and the Straw Hat's Going Merry, it looks like it's trapped, and Jonathan's up there like, I win, Straw Hat, turn yourself in, I'll let the others go. Well, I think he says something to like, you know, turn your head in, I have to turn you into the Marines because you're a wanted man. I think he says Zoro too, because Zoro and Luffy have wanted posters at this point, but everyone else, you know, I'll be fair and just to your crewmates, like he's won, and then that's when the Straw Hats bust out their dial gambit and they manage to fly over the wall of Navarone, and Jonathan kind of has like a, not even like a begrudging respect, he respects the Straw Hats for that. He's like, game well played, sir. Game well played, you Straw Hat bastard. You know, you won. Also, he's got a wicked hot wife who's also one of the best cooks in the Marines, so that's definitely a bonus there. Yeah, so that's Jonathan. Just go watch the G8 arc. If you're gonna watch any filler in One Piece, which, by the way, there's really not that much filler in One Piece. There is earlier on, but after a while, I think it's because One Piece just got so fracking popular in Japan that they just cut back on as many fillers as possible, because that way, you know, we can get to the plot, which is what they really want. The last filler we got was the Marine rookies, and then before that it was the Breed arc, and both of those only lasted like 3 or 4 episodes each. Bleach. The G8 arc is, I think it's about a dozen episodes or so, around that. And it's one of the last, good, full filler arcs of One Piece. There was also the Ice Hunter thing between Enies Lobby and Thriller Bark, but that one was just kind of meh for me. But definitely G8, if you're going to check out any filler in One Piece, right now, it's pretty good. Also, before I go, it's actually, fun fact, Jonathan's name is actually taken from, oh, this is so embarrassing. I'm sorry, I forgot. Hold on, let me pull it up on my phone really quick. Jonathan's name is based off of Jonathan Livingston Seagull! That fucking bird! Spouting his philosophies on fitting in a society when you're so clearly different and how your differences should be honored and not rejected. Sorry, I have to go take care of something. Freaking Jonathan Livingston Seagull!